Hello guys. Hang on, let me do that again. You can keep that in script. Hello. Welcome back to another video. Bit of a different video. We're not playing the game. We're talking about Rocket League. Interesting. If you don't like to I can't speak. If you don't like to hear me talk, then click off the video because I'm going to be doing a video on predicting EU RLCS teams where they're going to place in this upcoming split. Obviously, we're going to a new season of RLCS, season 2022/23. Almost got that one wrong. So we're going to be predicting EU teams. Obviously, I don't play in Europe anymore, so I can talk about this. Obviously, I never really predict my own region because it's bad luck. Well, I also just don't like doing that. It's a bit weird to me personally. So let's get into it. Talking about some teams that perhaps you guys don't know about. For reference, some of these teams aren't actually in the game, like Quadrant here. I'm going to be using as kind of a placeholder for Cash, Ixo, and Waves team because they're for some reason not on the list. I don't think they have a logo, and I think this is a rumored org, I think, or like a rumored org that's meant to be joining, so they could be picking them up. Don't know, not any leaks, but just going to be using them as a placeholder. Let's get into it. As of today, Williams got announced, their team got announced here, Solari's team got announced. SK, again, this team I'm going to be using as a placeholder for Scrub Killer, Nas, and Rise team because I think they were rumored to join them. So let's get into it. So first team we have is Aogiri. Now this, if I look at my notes, this is VK Salem, Oslon, and Stizzy. A lot of you guys might not know them. Perhaps you've heard of VK and Oslon. Oslon's a Dutch player, been around for quite a while. VK Salen's a Spanish player, quite a big Spanish player, or especially in RCSX he was on Magnifico and Queso. So we're going to put these guys in D. They're a decent team, but obviously there's just a lot of good teams in Europe. But I've got them as, well, we're going to sort the D tier out, we're going to sort out all the tiers in a bit. I'm just going to do all my D tier and work my way up. So next in D tier, I've got Gross Noobs here. Not sure how to pronounce their name. I'm going to go with Gross Noobs because it's quite funny if I say it like that. This team is Ukis, Whiskey Drink, and Econ. Again, they're decent players, but I just don't think they're going to be competing against, the likes of some of these teams we have here. So next team in D tier, I've got Heat. Again, Parker, Faris, and Juicy. This team could surprise people. It's just going to take a lot, but Juicy's quite good. I've always rated Parker and Faris a bit more than most people have. So they could surprise people a bit, but Europe's looking stacked. I've said that in the past 3 teams. Try not to hurt any feelings. And the team we have next is Team Endpoint, who have just announced their team today. This is Devo, Crispy, and CMAS. I just don't think they're going to be able to handle any of the other teams, really. I've got them above Gross Noobs, and I've got Heat next to Endpoint, and I've got Aogiri topping D tier here. And that's D tier. We're going to leave it at that because I think in C, we've got a few more established teams like Monkeys. This is my next team. This is Arju, Matane, and Smokes. Smokes, a player that not a lot of people know about. Quite a big ranked grinder. I think he was rank A in 6-man as well. Very good mechanics. Cash, they used to have Cash, and he was very mechanical. I don't think Smokes is going to live up to that hype. So I've got Monkeys. I don't think like Smokes is going to live up to Cash's hype. Cash is a very good player. It's very big shoes to fill. So I've got them doing slightly worse than they did last season. Next, I actually have Guild. So Guild I don't think it's been announced, but I think they're rumored to be picking up Stake, Acro, and Lewis P. I think that's the rumor. I'm pretty sure. So this team, I think they recently won a tournament. I saw that got posted on Twitter. Acro is quite an underrated player. Lewis P is very good, and Stake's a decent player. He's pretty solid. Nothing too special, but you know what he's going to do on the day, which is sometimes what you need. So decent player, and I think I'm quite high on Lewis and Acro. So these guys highly mechanical players. And I think they're going to do, you know, some upsets here and there, but I think they're going to fall short. They won't stick around for the whole season. They won't stick together for the whole season. That's my prediction. One of them's getting dropped. I don't know. I think Stake would be the most likely in terms of gameplay for me personally, but Acro is obviously the only non-Spanish player on the roster. He's an English guy, very nice guy, and the other two are Spanish. So you know what happens when you get two the same nationality on a team. But we'll see if it happens with this one. Next, I have Sonics. I think they just announced their roster today. Yeah, they did. Sonics have announced Mike Boytho and Metsonoris as a team with Fruity as coach. So quite an interesting team. I'd like to say an old team. Like Mike and Tho aren't old players, but they've been around for a while. So I class it as an old team. And obviously Fruity and Metsonoris in terms of Rocket League age are quite old players compared to everyone else. So obviously Fruity's a coach. He's not a player anymore. But yeah, this team, I think they're going to be solid. They're going to be better than people expect. I just can't put them any higher. There's just better teams, but they could be better. Like they could do better than people think. They're just going to be solid. They're going to be there. You know, you have to get past them if you want to be making like top 12s. I think that's what it's going to be with this team. Tho's also very underrated. I like that player a lot. So next we have Williams. Williams announced their team today. Again, lots of announcements today. Breezy, Noasaki, and Flame with Ethan as coach. And this team, I think they'll improve a lot. I think Noasaki is a very unproven player in terms of his own gameplay, as in he has a lot of room to like grow into. He's one of the only players in the world that, like, I don't know, when I look at Noah play, he's got very weird mechanics, as in like in a good way. Like he's just got different mechanics. He's quite a mechanical player, but he's not like really flashy. It's what I class as like Seiku. He has a similar like mechanical style as Seiku, and I always say this, and it gets some weird looks because obviously they're not in the same category of player, but it doesn't mean that they're not similar in their own rights. And I think he's fairly similar, in my opinion, in mechanics wise, the way he kind of goes about, and I like that player a lot. Breezy's great. He's got again a lot of room to fill into. I think he can, or room to improve into. I think he can improve a lot, and his mechanics are definitely good. And again, with Flame, he's a player that you know what he's going to bring to the table. Solid player, and he'll do his job. So got Williams there. Next team I have is Solari. K-Dop, Chaussette, and Fairy Peak. Again, another solid team. I think Chaussette is a pretty good player. Fairy Peak and K-Dop, obviously, they have been better in the past. So is Chaussette. But Fairy Peak and K-Dop, I think that they can still be decent players, especially Fairy. I like Fairy quite a lot. I think he can still be a great player. K-Dop, again, you know what he's going to bring in. K-Dop always has that natural, ability just to win. So I've got Solari here. Nothing really more to say. I think they're going to be decent. Next, I actually have SK Gaming. And this is Scrub Killer, Nas, and Rai. Now, I think Nas is going to be one of the best players in the world at some point. I don't know whether that's in a year, a month. Who knows? It could be a Seiku, and he could be the best in the next tournament, or it could be, who knows? We don't know. But I think Nas, just from what I'm seeing in ranked and show matches and 1v1, he's very, very good. He's just got that natural kind of ability to play the game very well. Obviously, Scrub's a good player. He's gonna, bring, what he's gonna bring. He's gonna be a solid player for that team. He's gonna be the main one holding it down and keeping those guys together, in my opinion. Rai's an underrated player. He's a Spanish guy, very highly mechanical. I think he has a lot to show and still to improve into. So I think he's going to be good. I think this team, I don't know if they'll be successful straight away, but I have them improving very quickly. I've got my eyes on Nas. I think he's going to be great. So that's why I've got this team here mainly. I'm very high on this player. And I think that the other two are still very good as well. So B tier, we have Top Blokes. This team is Casio, Raziers, and Rizex. Obviously, the player that everyone's going to be looking at on this team I don't think it's rude to say is Raziz. He's obviously come off a very good performance in the Saudi Arabian tournament, game as 8. And obviously it was 1s, 2s and 3s, but you got to be good at them. Well, you don't have to be good at them all, but if you are good at them all, you're usually a pretty good player. And he was. I think he was very good in 3s as well. So, and I've tried with this guy. I've scrimmed with him. I've played with him in ranked. He's very, very good. So, got my eyes on him mainly on this team. Cassio, he always manages to find a team that's just going to make it to lands. He just does it. I think he's a pretty good player. I think there are better players in terms of gameplay, but he's very consistent. He's very solid, and he's just got that natural leader ability. He's a very good teammate. I obviously speak to players that have teamed with him quite a lot, and they all love him as a teammate. He's just gonna bring good vibes to the team and hold them together. And Rizex is a good player. He's obviously just got kicked off Evil Geniuses, but I think he's still a very solid player. So this team will be good for sure. Next, I have Evil Geniuses, team I just spoke about with Rizex. They replaced him with Talkz, and they've kept Ivan and Catalysm. Now, people are going to be rating this team very, very highly. I am. I don't know. I think Talkz is a great player. I think Rizex is a good player. I don't know how much of an upgrade it is. You got to give Rizex, he was not bad on this team. I think he was better than people think. I think he was worse than fans think. I think he was better than pros think. That's what I think. I think he was good on this team. And I don't know if Talkz. I think Talkz had a worse season individually than Rizex did. I don't think it's unfair to say that either. So yeah, I've got this team here. They could creep into the top 5. Like, they genuinely could. Their synergy has been proven before to be very, very good. They've won tournaments, I think, with this roster before, or a very similar roster. Talkz seems to play better on this team. I will admit that. I've not scrimmed these guys whilst I was in Europe before I came to North America, so I can't. Actually, did I? I think I did once, maybe. Can't remember though. So this team could be better than I'm giving them credit for, but I've got them here. They're going to be a solid top 8, top 9 team, I think. So yeah. Wait, top 8? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Top 9. That's it. Yeah. Top 10. They'll be solid top 10. I'll say that. Next team I have is Vitality in beta, and this team is Alpha, Sazen, and Radisson. I'm not classing. I'm doing this for the full split, guys. Zen has signed for Vitality. He's been announced for Vitality, but he obviously can't play until the last split, which is when I think this team will really shine. Now, I don't know the roster of that team. I think it's a very big possibility it could be Sazen, Radisson, and Zen. I'm not going to lie. I think that team has played together a lot, so it could be that. People obviously think it's going to be Alpha, Radisson, and Zen. Radisson could play bad, Sazen could perform, so it could be any rendition of this roster. It could be that. So we don't know. But I've got this team as Alpha, Sazen, Radisson. Got this team finishing here. They're going to be solid. They're going to be pretty good. I just think that these teams are better. I think that I could swap. I could push these guys in and push the next team down. But yeah, that's what I've got. So now moving up into A tier, I've got G1. They announced their team a couple of days ago. This is marked by Atomic and Dorito. Very Spanish team, obviously full Spanish. It's going to be very ball chasey, I think. I've scrimmed these guys. It was a good scrim. They were pretty good. They were here in North America. It went even, I think, and these guys were pretty solid. So I've got them here. They're going to be a team that could be pushing into that top 5, even top 4 spot. But I've got them at 7th for now. This team and the next team, which is Quadrant, are very interchangeable for me. Quadrant, obviously, I'm using them as a placeholder for Wave, EXO, and Cash. I think these guys are going to be better than people think. People are giving them credit for. EXO is a far better player than fans think. Wave is a far better player than fans think, and people think that Cash is great already, and he is, but people think that he deserves a better team. I think he's got a great team here. Wave is a very, very good pairing for Cash, and EXO is a great player as well. So I love this team. They'll be better than people think, for sure. And yeah, I can't wait to see them play. They're awesome, my friends. I'm looking forward to seeing them play. But I've got them over G1. I could have them here, this way around. I think they're going to be very, very close. And I think it's going to be a battle for 6th, 7th, pushing 5th, perhaps even 4th. So, yeah, that's what I've got right now. A tier, G1, and Quadrant for now. Next, we have... I don't know, man. I had on my notes, I've got on my notes I've got Team Liquid as the 5th team move, and Moist as 4th. But I don't know. Like, it could be like I've got these in my top 3. I'm saying that now, but it could be 4th, 5th. But I'm gonna give Moist the credit, where it's due. No, actually, I'm going here because Liquid are keeping their full team. So I've got Moist here, changing roster. I think they're still going to be great, really, really good. I think the top, 3 to 5th is very interchangeable. So yeah, I've got these guys here, and I've got Oxygen at 3rd. I've got these 3 teams are very interchangeable. Could play it like this, could play it like this, but I've got Oxygen here because I really think the Archie Joris are a very, very good pairing. I think Joris is going to have a great season. I hope he does. Really looking forward to seeing him play, actually. I think Archie is just going to be amazing on whatever team he joins. He's always going to drop 600 points a game. That's what he's just going to do. And he's a very, very defensive player and still one of the best in the world, which is, I think, what Joris needs. I think he's going to shine this season. I hope he does. And Oli is a very underrated player. I think he proved a lot what he could do in the last split of this season. And he's very, very mechanical. I think this team is just very stacked individually. Liquid, it's Liquid. They're, on par individually, if not even perhaps more. They've also, got that experience. Perhaps I'm being biased towards Joris with putting Oxygen above him. I just think that Oxygen are going to be great. Liquid at 4th, I don't think it's an insult, neither with Moist at 5th. I think getting top 10 in Europe is going to be stacked so hard this season. So any of these teams are good. But Moist, what I was saying was they changed their roster. Obviously, they've done very well with a different roster. I think Astral is one of the best players in the world. I just don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know if the mentality is going to be there with this team. I'm guessing. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it is. It's just I think it is questionable. And people are going to be like, why do you not think the mentality of this team here? I called it. I think Joris Joris is going to be putting hours into this game right now, which is a lot of people's question, which I think is pretty silly anyway. He was doing fine anyway. Yeah, he's going to be putting way more hours into this game because he has a team he enjoys now. When we first created the team at Dig with Scrub, he enjoyed that team, and over time, none of us really enjoyed it at the end. I think it's fair to say, and that was probably why everyone started putting a little bit less hours. It's natural. He's going to love this team. He's going to put the hours in, especially at the start. It could go bad and it could go down. Who knows? That's like with any player on any team. So yeah. Next, I have KC and obviously BDS at 1st. I think that's a given. This is what it should be. BDS should be at 1st. Maybe I'm being stupid because it is a prediction. But I think these guys are just they're just too well structured inside and outside of the game. They know what they're gonna do. They're waking up with the vision of winning another world championship, winning another tournament, no matter what tournament it is. They get to their facility, always training in person, or not always, but pretty much all the time, training in person at the BDS facility. They're very structured in their approach. Going into the game, they're very structured in their game plan whilst playing the game, and they're very structured with taking wins and not really losing. So this team is going to be 1st for me. I don't think it's, that's a question right now. Who knows? KC could be amazing. They could flop. Any of these teams could be amazing. They could flop. Who knows? But I think this is the team I'm most confident in, at least being right at the top in the, just making every major. Whereas every other team, I think, could miss out on one. This team, I don't think will. KC, Vatira, Exotic, Tachi. I'm very high on this team. I think they'll be very, very good. I think Exotic will be even better than before on this team. I think he'll, really shine. Vatira is gonna, be Vatira. And Itachi is a very solid player, very mechanical player when he wants to be. I just think this team's going to work purely because they want to play with each other loads. So, and they're going to be excited to represent Carmine Corp. Vitera loves that org. I'm sure Exotic would. He's French. So I think the vibes are very important and this team's going to have it. So that is the tier list. My top 5: BDS, Carmine, Oxygen, Liquid and Moist going into the first major, with Quadrant and G1 slightly missing out. And these teams just a step below them. But this could change. Who knows? Spring split. Zen moves in. Bang. Vitality first. Who knows? We don't know. Zen could be the greatest. Any teams? I think if I had to predict like an underrated team, obviously I've got like Aogiri at the top of D, SK at the top of C, Vitality at the top of B, but it doesn't mean that I don't think like others could have more pop-off potential, right? I think if I had to pick a team that could surprise people, I think I'm gonna go with one team from each tier list. I think Endpoint would be slightly better than people think. They could move up to here. I don't know. I think EG could be, I did praise them. I think they could play better than I'm giving them credit for. I think Williams could be good if Noasaki really, fills into that role that I'm hoping he does, and Breezy also perhaps uses his mechanics better in threes. Then I think this team could be really, really good. And out of here, I've already said Quadrant. I hope it will surprise people. I think they will. So those are teams I think will surprise people. Let me know in the comments anything I missed out on. Perhaps I didn't include your favorite team in the top tier. Who knows? Let me know. Shout at me, scream at me, call me stupid, and let me know your predictions. I want to hear your top 10 EU teams predictions in the comments right now. Go, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.